everybody? You're now tuned into Jaguars Daily. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another video. What's going on, family? How's everybody doing? A huge shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the video. Get into some advertisements later, man, but we're not going to bury the lead. Hey, what was it? Is it Terrific Tuesday? Yes, absolutely Terrific Tuesday. Hey, a football fix is needed. Of course, Liam Coen spoke. We have a rash of injuries, two positions specifically that's really been hit very hard. But they got some encouraging news yesterday and seemingly today as far as the offensive line is concerned. Same a little bit with linebackers, but the injury bug has officially bitten the team. Travis Hunter does most of his damage on the defensive side of the ball in Monday's practice. Zach Wilson. Now, I will say this: Zach Wilson did look good. Just so you know, he did look good. I understand backups, reserves, second team, third team, whatever. The dudes who gonna be selling insurance in a couple months. I get all of that, but the conversation needs to be had. So we're going to have it. So we're going to start with Liam Coen, of course. And my main man, Liam, he spoke after practice Monday. And he talked about his practice strategy. He explained why he adjusted the intensity of the practice session, noting that they need to manage depth issues at key positions like offensive line and linebacker. So they say, it was kind of a funky day. They wanted to go longer in pads, but due to injuries and them doing lineup changes, and they seemed like it wasn't a good idea to go in the pads. So they let up a little bit. And he also spoke about how he's trending towards playing the players in the preseason game Friday, because they're looking at from now until the week one in Cleveland, and that there's not a lot of padded practices that they have between now and then. So that work that they'll get, he said a few drives Friday against the Carolina Panthers is what they're looking for, so they can get some more of that padded work. Feels like they need to get more work in, especially after the joint practice with New Orleans and the preseason game that followed. Of course, you had your bright spots here and there, but overall, the coaches were not happy with the performance overall. Because it didn't live up to their standard, and your standard is your standard, regardless of the opponent. So you have something to meet. As well with they'll also you probably going to see, I would say you definitely see Trevor Lawrence. You'll see all of the main guys, but they're going to have a shuffle on that offensive line. So it'll be interesting to see what the shuffle will be on the offensive line. Today they had Ezra Cleveland working at right tackle. I think from right to left you had Ezra Cleveland, Jonah Monheim, I think, Robert Hainsey, Emmanuel Pregnon, and Anton Harrison. So I think so. It was Anton Harrison, Emmanuel Pregnon, Robert Hainsey, Jonah Monheim. No, Wyatt Milam. I'm sorry, excuse me. Wyatt Milam, and then Ezra Cleveland at right tackle. And they're doing this to switch it up, because a lot of those guys can play multiple positions. Don't know how well Ezra can play tackle, but they have him out there, so at least you get a chance to see him. The one I'm most interested in is, of course, the rookie, Emmanuel Pregnon, because that man has the Blastoise build on deck, and he looks like a road grader already. So I'm hoping to see more of that young man. Also, Coen's he praised Emmanuel and his recent performance on the field, noting that he flashed potential during the joint practices and the preseason game. He also commends the work of Coach Matt in developing the defensive backs. So defensive backs coach Matt, I think it's Arujo. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I have to look at these things up so I make sure I'm absolutely correct in how to pronounce people's names. But yes, defensive backs coach, he was praised in his development of said defensive backs. They Travis Hunter also spoke about coaches getting onto them and how they preached it like, yo, we need you, the guys, to be better. You need to do the things that we set out to do because our standard is the standard. Ain't no buddy with the offense. Let's go out, let's play. And so it reflected in Monday's practice. They say Monday's practice was intense and efficient after what they saw on the field against New Orleans in joint practice and in the game, and a lot of people expected it to be so. So those guys came out with a fire and intensity in Monday's practice and got some quality work in. But we're going to leave it right there. And we're talking about the injury bug. Oh, man, the injury bug has bit. They got good news and not so good news. The not so good news, of course, Patrick McCarry, the right guard for the Jacksonville Jaguars, underwent back surgery, according to Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport. Mike Garafolo says guard Patrick McCarry recently underwent a procedure on his back and will miss some time. Sources tell me and Ian Rappaport Jacksonville expects McCarry to play this season and has not yet made a decision on injury reserve to begin the year. So the fact that they're mulling over injury reserve lets you know that they have a timetable already in mind as far as his return, and it is fairly soon, because if it wasn't, might as well go ahead and put him on injury reserve and then, bring him back after that 4-week period and then that 21-day ramp up / acclimation period that they have to go through before they can play. So I guess they don't want to do that just yet. They haven't pulled the trigger on it, but it's always an option. So you're looking to see, I guess, after the procedure, where he is, where he progresses before they go and do something like put him on injury reserve, because they might be able to have him. So he had been sidelined during training camp anyway, not taking part in team portions of practice. We've seen several players line up at right guard, including Walker Little, who is out injured as of now. Jonah Monheim, Wyatt Milan have all played that position as well. And it really has hit the offensive line hard. It also has hit the linebackers hard. They did get some good news as far as Chuma Edoga. He's going to miss some time, but they expect him to be back, I guess, before the start of the regular season. So that is some potential good news. They spent the last few periods of practice without pads, because the numbers, they say, it started to thin out in terms of healthy linebackers and offensive linemen. Parker Hughes, linebacker, rookie linebacker, was placed on injured reserve as well on Monday. And they signed a linebacker. They waived tight end Ethan Connor as well. And they said, Monday was a bit of a funky day because of the injuries and things they had going on as well. Let's see, is that the last on the injuries? Okay, yes, Jalen McLeod, also linebacker. He's been out. He's missing some time. He played in the preseason game, but now he's nursing injury right now. So there's no word on his timetable, but it doesn't sound like it's Parker, the Parker Hughes season-ending variety right now. So they're looking at you're getting pretty thin at those positions because you're still missing Jack Kaiser. Now Jalen McLeod is down as well. So we shall see how things go. And Liam Coen also spoke about the injuries on Monday. He said, we wanted to go full, and we obviously have some depth issues at a couple positions, specifically O-line and linebacker. He said, and if we want to have a successful week, going full all day didn't sound sound. He said, so wanted to come out and get the conditioning, the work, got a good full speed, full pads period, got 2 full padded, 7 on for the conditioning part of it and the competes, and then took them off for 1 period in the 2-minute. So it was more so just because of where we're at. So I think that's about it on the injuries as well. It have a few other guys. Coen Landon, of course. He's still out, so his timetable is still, they say, it sounds like he's still on schedule. Walker Little was out participating in individuals. He didn't participate in team, so that's encouraging as well. So looks like they'll have all their pieces will come back together prior to week 1, and hopefully they don't have any major injuries between now and then, and they can kind of weather the storm and work through. But I mean, if you were going to have have injuries, now is the time, because depending on the severity of say injuries, you can still find some, maybe a decent piece that you can replace them with, that's still out there right now. Because as the season continues to go on, guys get injured. The guys that are on the market, who are those next options up, will start to dissipate, and you'll have less and less options to choose from. So now is the time. So hopefully they can get through this as well. But we're going to leave it right there. And we're talking about Kalshi. Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making prediction who wins the division, who makes the playoffs, who's lifting the trophy at season's end. On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Will Jacksonville qualify for the playoffs this season? Right now, Jacksonville is trading at 53%, meaning a $100 trade will pay out $47 if they clinch a playoff spot. Can the Jaguars win at least 10 games this season? Jacksonville is currently trading at 46%, meaning a $100 trade pays out $217.39 if they reach 10 wins. Will the Jaguars win the AFC Championship this season? Jacksonville is currently trading at 7%, meaning a $100 trade would pay out $1,428.57 if they take home the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in the live market, meaning there's no house, and as probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download Kalshi app and use code FANARCHFOOTBALL to get $10 when you trade. Well, $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI Kalshi. Trade on anything. And we're back at it. And we talking about box office. That dude, that guy, Travis Hunter. So, I guess before we get into what Travis Hunter spoke about, we'll talk about his practice on Monday and why it was significant, as far as his usage and how they will use him on either side of the ball, going forward. It doesn't mean that he's going to be, on one side of the ball exclusively or significantly more than the other. I mean, defensively, I'm sure he's going to outsnap defensively. He's going to have more snaps on defense than he is on offense by the end of the year. I do see that happening, because on defense, there's no reason for him to come off the field. Offensively, different story. Ton of pass catchers. Got to get in where you fit in. But, hey, playmakers will play. So, Jacksonville has big plans for Hunter entering 2026. Plans that we don't know. You just don't know. But on day 14 of camp on Monday, he had a concentrated effort at cornerback. And it's where he's been projected to be. Most people want him there. They think he should be there full time. They think he can be one of the all-time greats at said position, a Hall of Fame type player, a la Jalen Ramsey. And forget the haters, because Jalen was great. He still is. So he had all of his reps came in 11 on 11 reps came on defense. He took no 11 on 11 on reps on offense. Coach Coen spoke about it. He said, we just wanted to get him the 7-on-7 work and just really hone in on a little bit more corner. And made a good freaking play on the outcut over there. He said, trying to get him more just when he's on defense, and then getting some of the mental reps on defense when he's not in, and he's coming to offense every time. We're losing out on even more coaching in those moments. And so we wanted to just be very intentional today about getting him some of those visual reps so Matt can coach him even when he's not in. He's not running over. So we just wanted to get him a little bit more of that. Oh, and hey, it's understandable. It's understandable. And he also spoke about um, he spoke about his far as being a critical piece on offense as well. And he said they have never once referred to him as a backup at wide receiver. He has made plenty of plays. He said, Coach Coen said also, we all know that he's our 3A, 3B receiver right now. You know what I mean? He said, and trying to get him the exposure to every opportunity that we have out there. He said, but right now, I mean, we need a lot of communication. A lot of repetition needs to continue, obviously, on both sides of the ball, but specifically on defense, where like all the right offensively, it's a lot of play called, go execute the play and shoot. There's a lot of detail and fundamental techniques that go into that, but post snap, pre snap, post snap on defense, there's just so much more that can go into it, especially being in unison and being in connection. So we're just trying to and be intentional over the next couple of weeks, just making sure that we're ready to go for Cleveland and feel good about that. So, they want to get him more reps at corner because in order for him to be successful at corner, he's going to have to play corner. He's going to have to play it a lot. He's going to have to continue to rep it and rep it and rep it. He's not going to be able to just be put in there and then go play. No, he's going to have to really rep those things because even the great corners that aren't playing, let's say they're usually playing zone, and all of a sudden you want to switch to man. You haven't practiced it. You haven't tried. It's probably gonna be a bad day, and that's with some of the best corners. Hey, because hey, guys are who they are, and they get into a mode of in the mindset of what they're going to do, and to switch it up in the middle of a week, it's not going to happen. So in order for him to play corner at a high level, he's going to have to continue to practice at it, rep it, it's just what he's going to have to do, and it's the same at wide receiver. So it's a delicate balance, but corner is where he's going to make his money this year, and then wide receiver he's going to take a nice little jump, and he's going to shock a lot of people at wide receiver as well. It's just my opinion, but we'll talk about what Travis spoke about fairly quickly. Then we're going to get that last topic in here so we can get out of here. So Travis Hunter spoke, and they asked him about returning to play, and he expressed excitement about being back on the field after a 9-month hiatus, emphasizing his focus on knocking off the rust and improving his game. And he also talked about, families, his family. They watch. Families always watch, and they look and see what's said about their loved one, and they get pissed off. Like Chris Olave had a catch on him. Oh, the $150 million wide receiver had a catch on Travis Hunter, who hadn't been on the field against competition in 9-10 months. Really? I don't see what the big deal is, but people gonna people. That's what they're gonna do, and it's not always a fantasy football, bro, but it usually is. So it is what it is. Talking about his physical development, he said to better handle the physicality of NFL, gained 13 pounds and he improved by and he gained 13 pounds and improved his diet by cutting out sugar and junk food. And he just talked about how he grew up, and that's how a lot of us grew up. And even when those times where your parents told you no, if you had freedom, what were you doing with your money? You're going to get crap. That's what you're going to do. And he said he talked about his strong brotherhood he has with Brian Thomas. And he talked about how he say he calls him every morning, and we trying to get in the building, trying to get that work in. He says it's a real brotherhood that they have, and I'm happy to hear that because usually the NFL is not a real brotherhood as far as, especially even on guys on the same team. Forget guys on another team, but it's not really truly a true brotherhood, man. It's really every man for himself. So I'm guessing when you find those genuine connections, man, you hold on to them and you cherish them because hey, the dude right next to you, the dude on the opposite side of you, the guy at another position. Like, not everybody's your friend. This isn't always all a brotherhood. Everybody isn't all chummy and gung ho. No, I'm here to do a job, and I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna chill with my family. I don't know y'all like that. That's the mentality some of them have, and it is what it is. But it's not to disparage them. Like, as long as you do your job, I don't care what you do. So he also spoke about noting he's fully committed to set the edge and the mentality on defense. You talked about the intensity they had in Monday's practice, and said coaches got on them. And hey, it is what it is. And it turned out fairly well for him. So can't wait to see that guy in full go. So we haven't seen him in full go yet. But just get the Ferrari on the highway and let's open that thing up, man. Let's open it up. But we're gonna leave it right there. And we're talking about Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson. There's a potential Jaguars named as a potential destination for the Saints $1.4 million quarterback. I'll take him right now. Nick Mullins was not on the practice field today as well. Monday. They said he's nursing some injuries. He got bent up a little bit. He did get hit. He got hit. He got hit a lot. All of them. Carter Bradley should be sore too, but he's younger. He can bounce back faster. But he got hit too. Everybody who was a quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the New Orleans Saints in the preseason got hit. And the guys that were in practice, they didn't get hit. But if it was a game, they would have got sacked because the defensive line was absolutely feasting on the shaky offensive line play that we've had due to injuries and moving guys around. So Zach Wilson's, this was a very fun time on the internet when Zach Wilson was compared to Trevor Lawrence, and you had the likes of I'm not 100%. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I can't remember which one of those guys said it, but they said that Zach Wilson will be a better pro than Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to say Orlovsky because I think it was Orlovsky, but it may not have been. It might have been Kuiper Jr. It might have been McShay. I can't remember who it was, but that was the talk, and there was a legit debate about who was going to go number one. And Zach Wilson was supposedly closing the gap. Very fun time because even then I knew that crap was BS, just like it is now. It's like there's no way, there's no comparison between the two. Absolutely not. Get it out of here. I don't care what you're talking about, man. No, Zach Wilson is not going to be it. That's just what it is. But in this scenario, he is it. Cause you saw him. You saw him. I know you saw him. I know you saw him. I know you saw the quarterback throwing the football against the New Orleans Saints in the preseason game. I know you saw him. Zach Wilson was the best quarterback on the field Saturday. No question. That suited up and played for the Saints or the Jaguars. The best quarterback on the field was Zach Wilson. Now, will Jacksonville do this? Don't know. But let's just go. Let's just go down this article right here. Let's talk just a little bit. So his performance against the Jaguars, he showed flashes of the potential he carries with his 145 yards and 1 touchdown in case front office receives or makes calls with a trade offer. Wilson played great, and Jacksonville's backups didn't. That contrast hit immediately. One insider even joked that the Jaguars should trade a late pick at halftime just to get Wilson on their flight home. He said, it was a funny tweet on the surface, but the concern underneath is real. It's real like a... So, Florida Times Union columnist Ryan O'Halloran explored the possibility of Jaguars flipping a late-round pick to get Wilson to add more depth behind Trevor Lawrence. I was saying that when I was watching Zach Wilson. He said Jaguars should flip a late-round pick to New Orleans to have him aboard the charter home. He's talking about depth is very much needed behind Lawrence. Nick Mullins struggled to command the offense on Saturday, getting benched after going 3 for 7 for just 33 yards and an interception. And I wonder what the interception was about, just going back and looking at it. The linebacker read the quarterback's eyes, man. Read the quarterback's eyes, dropped back in the zone, and picked the ball off. But even if the linebacker did not do that, the DB was right there. The guy wasn't open. DB was right there. So the ball would either been broken up or intercepted, and it got intercepted. So it would not have been a completion for a touchdown. From what I saw, the angles I saw. Maybe the all 22 tells a different story, but that's what I saw. Carter Bradley didn't fare much better either, with 3 sacks and a costly interception. And he if Lawrence takes any time and we got to play without him at any point, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna probably, for those games, especially if we know he's coming back, then okay, maybe we can get through this storm. But let's say, God forbid, he's not, and we got to deal with that. I'm just going ahead and tuck my head between my legs and kiss it goodbye, man. I hope they can find a little black box, because plane is going down and it's going to crash. It's just what it is. We don't have a team that can overcome the play of the current backups that's on the team. We don't. So and that's just my opinion. That great team, but it's not going to work without Trevor Lawrence at all. So we'll see what they're talking about. We'll see what happens. I don't think Jacksonville has much interest. Nick Mullins he knows the offense. He's a veteran. He's been doing it for a long time. So he's good. They say he's good for the quarterback room as well with Trevor Lawrence. So most likely nothing's going to happen there. But man, I really, really hope that there's no point where we have to put any of those guys on the field. So it is what it is. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media. Once again, my name is Brandon Lampley. Apple Podcast, Spotify, give you boy 5-star rating is free. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.